DC, are you trying to break and revive our hearts every episode? 'Cause I don't know if I can take it. Hey there, this is your Matt Doodle with Too Much Time on His Hands, Doodle here with another video. And today, I'd like to talk about My Adventures Superman, Episode 5, and how it shows us how it can be heartwarming, sad, inspirational, fantastical, all in one, and is why we like superheroes so much. Like immediately in this episode, we don't have any time to waste. We go into Clark and Lois trying to immediately talk about what has been going on for the past few episodes of them just not being able to talk to each other. And I love that they just, point that out, that normally in shows they would just make the two main characters just not know what to say, in the sense of like, I don't want to talk about it. I want you to be in fault. I want you to be in fault. But no, in here, they immediately, anytime they have a chance, they will try to talk to you about, because they're grown adults, they have responsibilities. Lois has her job, her dad to worry about, while Clark literally also has a job in the Daily Planet, and also freaking Superman. So that's a lot of time to literally have. It's not because they're trying to avoid each other, unlike Jimmy that we see in this episode, but they are already trying to communicate. And because something happens, like literally Perry basically tells him to shut up, which is hilarious.
Hey, shut up and follow me.
But I like the fact that they went from that serious moment to something hilarious. And like, we go to something really lighthearted, because Perry wants Clark and Lois to, go into a bachelor and bachelorette type thing. And obviously we're going to be like, why would they want to go there? Oh, because Superman is going to be there. But why would Superman be there? Oh, because they're saving money for kids, which I love Clark's response here, because as soon as he hears that it's for the kids, he's immediately in on it. He's immediately there, because that's the type of person Superman is. As soon as you see these little moments, you see behind the actions on why Clark is the way he is, why he is a very nice guy, why he's Superman. The only thing I really wish they do is, show more on his parents and why he's like that. Because this will go into something that I am weirded out by. But I just love the fact that Cat Grant is like such a diva. Like how she immediately goes onto the window and like, oh my god, that face was hilarious. And terrifying. And I'm probably going to put that in my thumbnail. But I just can't, because she wants to go. She is the drama person for the Daily Planet. Gossip and all that stuff. But it's so funny because this is for Superman, they have to make him look like he is single, which in concept makes sense, but in practice is very not good. Before we get into that stuff, we meet this lady, Kara. I love the fact that they finally introduced her in literally episode 5. That took a while, but I love the fact that she's already showing us how she is, stubborn, ready for action, but in a new way, because of how this version of Kryptonians are raised and as warriors, which, honestly, I still do not like. But I've had to get used to it, because I know what the kind of lesson they're kind of go for. That Clark, despite his alien heritage of being more warriors, he ended up being a good person, which, But we get to see that other side with Kara, with her literally about to fight a truck. And yes, I know Kara looks like Android 18, but I think that's kind of the point from what they've been showing in this show on how Krypton is shown. But I love the fact that Jimmy immediately comes and saves her, and it goes into something that I really like because of their immediate chemistry as we immediately see them. And I love that they're bringing back that attraction between Jimmy and Kara. They've shown it in the comics, they've shown it in TV live-action shows, and they finally showed it in here. I really love that. And I love that technically Jimmy, being the first good person that she meets, is going to soften her up throughout this episode. And it's a funny thing how they do this trope of her not knowing what certain foods are, because she didn't know what ice cream was, so Jimmy had to teach her what that was and if it tasted good, which is a big thing you see with like Wonder Woman specifically, where if she gets ice cream, oh my god, it's one of the best things in the world. But seeing those two try to connect past her needing information because she thought he was a literal leader of the planet just because he said he owned the Daily Planet. Very interesting. It shows the genuine chemistry between them and how good of a person Jimmy is and why technically someone like Clark would be very friendly with him. How a normal person can, make you feel so happy. Something like that. Besides all of that cuteness, we need to get back into some Superman action, or the lack of action, with Lois having to basically tell Clark that she's going to have to hide the fact that he's in a relationship with her because Kat was able to attend because she made Lois think that Kat knew who Superman was. But I can't, with the fact of how much they show Clark and Lois love each other so much. But that's just going to get some problems later on in this episode. So let's see how that goes. And also, that's technically your fault, Lois. That's all your fault. I'm sorry. Because in this Bachelor thing, they introduce a few characters and they're all right. But it's interesting to see that Kat already thinks that Superman has a sheer energy because he never see him just out in the street just doing groceries, which is an interesting way to figure out that he has a secret identity. Because in this version of Superman, he doesn't have a Fortress of Solitude that everyone knows. He doesn't have a dog. He doesn't have a cousin yet. Anything like that. So that at that point, I understand. But we get into the Bachelors here. And we go into these characters here that the only one I know is Hank Henshaw, which they finally said his last name. But hold on. Wasn't he in a relationship? Because this was supposed to be single people. So either he divorced her or she's dead. I can't tell the difference.
Congrats on becoming a reporter. I wish we could catch up, but I'm leaving soon. Flying the wife to Paris.
But they also show the other characters that I have no idea. Silver St. Cloud sounds familiar. No idea who she is. But oh my god, that woman is thick. I can't. I love how Superman, is introduced here. Very nice. Very And I love that all the questions they're trying to give him are like, oh, what are you looking for in a relationship? And Superman's trying to, give his thoughts on what he sees as a good partner. Basically almost describes Lois, so he kind of has to go into a completely different thing. Tall lady. Oh, it's not that lady. Other lady's right next to him. It's so interesting because people are asking him, like, oh, why are you so cool? Why are you so high? And Superman's like, very Superman thing to say. I don't see myself as just Superman. I see myself as just a normal guy. And of course, Mr. Hank Henshaw had to basically say, you are not normal, you are not human, you are an alien. And I love that the Silver St. Cloud is already defending him and how he saves. Lex has obviously indoctrinated all the people around him because Hank is already no, you may have everyone under your thumb, but I know the real truth. I'm like, god damn, slow down. Then we get to see Jimmy and Kara that he's actually trying to help her is very sweet, and it kind of brings them back to the Bachelor show thing. So it brings her into contact with, well, it almost gives them contact with Superman, but Clark sees that Lois is being, upset, which I get it because the lady is flirting with Superman a lot, but I love that Clark's immediate thought is, hey, what's going on? Love the communication. But Lois is upset because of everything that's going on. The fact that because of this entire situation, these are supposed to be like, the best of the best people that are loved. And Kat is putting it in Lois's brain that Superman would want to be with someone who is as fantastic as he is. Which is very interesting because that's what I feel like people just focus on, the super part, not the man part, which Clark in this episode has tried to point out. Which a lot of people tend to just see. It's like, well, what makes him so interesting? What makes him so interesting is despite all these powers, he decides to do good. And that's what people love about Superman, that the internal struggle is what we love about him. Because that's what this show kind of like pushes every time, that this guy has so much powers, he's going to end up betraying us. But Clark has multiple times just said, hey, I'm not trying to do that. I am just trying to help. But because of all the things Kat is telling Lois that, he'd want to be with someone better, he'd want to be with someone stronger, she is starting to get very self-conscious. And when she finally tells Clark about all that she is not, the best in her field, she is not the strongest, she is not the richest, she is not the biggest, it is wild because she also explains that, her dad's missing, the job that Clark didn't know. And then Clark is, also explaining that he tried to talk to her and that, he finally was able to do his beacon. But, she gets mad about it, which, Lois, you have no right to be that mad. But we can't handle with that anymore because Kara finally reveals herself as being his cousin and showing that he is weak compared to her eyes. Which, god damn, Jesus. And Jimmy finding out that, she's an alien, which Took you very long, my good sir. You literally lived with an alien for so long. You even knew that he was an alien before he told you. So I don't know what that's about. But it goes into this amazing, amazing fight where Kara gets into a battle armor, which I personally really love. I love how alien everything feels. I just love how cool an alien. That's what I like about it. I love the fact that the cape stays, which as soon as I thought about it, what if they take armor from this and give it to John Henry and they actually make him have the steel suit in this way because it's a little more slimmer. The cape is actually showing. I would actually love that so much. But the fight between them is just so fun because we see Superman caring about everyone. Every chance he gets, he tries to steer it to another place, somewhere where there's no people. But Kara is not caring. She is just trying to fight him, push him into telling him that he's weak, that this planet has made him soft, that she's here to enslave the planet, which is what I wanted to talk about. They have really just made this version of Krypton just the Viltrumite or the Saiyans from Dragon Ball, which is a weird thing because it goes into full circle. We go from Kryptonians just being a blank slate of people from a different planet sending into Earth to Dragon Ball, introducing the Saiyans, which are evil race of superpowered beings that enslave planets. Then we got Invincible with the Viltrumites, introducing them to being an evil race that's more prominent than it was in Dragon Ball. And then now, I guess Superman got inspired by that, making them, their alien race, a warlike planet, which, damn, that's a big circle to go into. But like I said beforehand, I don't like it, but I like the idea of what they're doing. They're making it that Clark, despite all his heritage, he is doing the best he can. He was raised with good people, which I wish they did bring in his parents to show that love. But Kara is fighting him even though she is clearly cared about Jimmy because she immediately calls him a distraction, which just hurts. But her suit just gets destroyed, right? I love that it's just a black version of like Superman's suit with red instead. And I've noticed that she has a Z on her chest instead of an S, which I wonder who her dad is in this version, even though they said it was Zor-El, I think. But we get to see Clark's new power. We get to see him finally use the freeze breath in a very anime way with the, the big circle, shooting out and hitting her. I originally was like really weird. It's like, oh no, they're giving him a laser power now? But no, it's just the freeze breath. That actually it made my brain go from like hating it to loving it in a matter of seconds. I was like, damn, awesome. They keep fighting, right? And the action is just so action-packed. It's like so amazing to watch. It's like the anime fights. So bombastic, so fast, so furious. And it didn't stop. But in the end, it looks like Kara won and trapped him. And this makes me think that maybe the Earth is going to be in so much danger that without Superman, they're going to realize the error of their ways. And because Clark is, off planet, so many of the bad guys are going to be introduced again to wreak havoc, and Task Force X is going to try to protect them, but we are probably going to get new heroes, like we're going to officially get Steel, we're going to maybe get Superboy, we're going to maybe get Eradicator, because there is still the Fortress of Solitude, and we may get Hank turn himself into Cyborg Superman to save people, apparently, because he already hates Superman, and that would be an amazing way to do the Death of Superman arc without actually having him there, or the Reign of Superman arc. But that was My Adventures of Superman episode 5. This show has made me such a fan of what DC has to come. Now I have all the hope in the world because, again, this show started with a very minimal when the first season came out. It was good. I personally loved it, but they were still trying to put their footing on the animation side of it. It was kind of wonky, but this one they seem to bring out the best character models. And the drama here, it makes sense. Of course, it's, a little more dramatized. Of course, people are not always going to make the right decision, but they make it in a smart way. And what I mean by that is they are not acting like they're children. They just don't have time. Again, adults just don't have time half the time when they're trying to do something. I love the anime inspiration in this show. I'm going to be first to say it. I've never really been a huge anime person. Not because I don't like it, it's just never been my cup of tea. But this type of style is really good to see in other media, like in here. But Those are just my thoughts. What are your thoughts on the show? What do you think about everything that was introduced here and what could happen? Let me know in the comments down below. If there isn't anything else, this has been Dudamite. I hope everyone stays nerdy, and I hope to see everyone in the next video.